If you're easily triggered, then don't watch any further. And if you also don't believe in capitalism, you probably should click off as well. But if you have an open mind and would like to learn how the world actually turns as unbiasedly as I can, stay with me, because I'm probably gonna position certain things and bring light to the realities of the economy that you haven't heard before. And certainly not in your traditional schooling, which is really designed to create worker bees who clock in, obey, sit down, clock out, and shut up. Have I offended you yet? No? You're still here? Well, all right then, let's get into it. Now, I'm sure this isn't news to you, but rich people like Elon Musk, Donald Trump, or even your own corporate boss actually do pay far less taxes than middle-class employees.
So wait, Matt, rich people making $500,000 a year or more pay less taxes than I do making $40,000 a year?
Yes. Now, before you get super mad, let's put aside the CNN and Fox News articles and segments attacking rich people. But let's be real, it's mostly CNN. And let's understand exactly why this is happening. See, what the media strategically leaves out of these hit pieces on wealthy people is that the government and the tax codes actually incentivize people to do the thing that the government can't do or can't do well. Number one, let's talk about my domain, real estate investing. Now, I'm in the top 1% income of wealth earners. At this time, I'm at the bottom of the 1%, but nonetheless, I'm in the top 1%. Now, I got here by investing in real estate and becoming an expert on it. I know how to raise money very easily, I know how to buy good deals and renovate them better than anybody else in my local areas, and I provide super high quality and safe housing for tenants. Now, this is something that the government can't do, or at least can't do well. I mean, the government does provide government housing, and in the US, I believe you guys call it Section 8 housing, but how good would you say that housing is? It's pretty bad, right? And with the low supply of housing that we currently have, which is at historic lows, the government can't even keep up even if it was their primary focus, which it definitely isn't. So let's review this logically for 1 second. The government can't provide nearly enough housing for the demand. Even with the recession we're now seeing and the pullback, we're not even close to having enough housing. And the housing that the government does provide is beat up, ugly, and just atrocious for most people's standards. Do you see the problem the government has in order to keep its citizens happy? It needs lots of quality housing and fast. So what are they to do? They need to incentivize someone to pick up the slack. Now, what's the reason 95% of us get out of bed in the morning for? You guessed it, money. The government needs to incentivize private citizens to pick up the large slack, and it does this with favorable tax treatments. When you invest in real estate and provide housing, first, you get offered tax write-offs because you are running a business. Essentially, any expenses to a business is a write-off. Now, it's not free money like some people think, but it lowers your income, which may put you in a lower tax bracket. For example, if you made $500,000, but you had $450,000 worth of expenses, you technically only made $50,000 and will be taxed at that low rate. Even though you made $500,000 maybe flipping houses or providing rental properties. Now, there's a lot more I can dive in with this, and I do on my channel, but this video is to educate the normal person in society at a fairly low level to grasp this. Now, you're probably thinking, well, if that person made $500,000 but spent $450,000 and they actually only made $50,000, why even bother? I mean, you might as well just work at your crappy job and make $50,000 a year. Well, you can, but that person who made $500,000 and spent 450 grand on expenses didn't really pay 450,000 in expenses like you probably think. For example, when you run any business, like a plumber, a hairstylist, photographer, or any business, which real estate investing is a business according to the government, you can write things off that normal employees cannot. For example, for me, I get to write off all of my car payments and gas. Now you, the employee, and me, we both need a car, no? The benefit I get though for being a business owner is that I get to write it off because, hey, in order for me to do my job, I need a car and I need gas. And the government says,
yes, you do need a car and gas in order for you to provide housing that we can't. So yes, Matt, you get to write off all of that. Thank you for your service to this country.
That's me being Uncle Sam, by the way. But do you see? We both need gas, but only I get to write it off. Now, me being an investor, I also need internet and I need a phone to do what I do. So So the government once again says,
yes, you do need those things for being a good housing provider. Yes, you can write all that off.
I'm betting you, the employee watching this, also have internet and a phone to watch Netflix or sweet YouTube videos like this, but I get to write it off.
But Matt, I get that, but what about rich people taking private jets to Hawaii? I mean, that's not allowed, right?
Well, smart investors and business owners who want to go to Hawaii, for example, would probably make sure to hit up a conference or spend some time looking at real estate and documenting that they did. So yeah, that trip to Hawaii would be a write-off, private jet and all. And Uncle Sam will once say again,
well, I know what you're doing. I'm not stupid. But you did go to a real estate conference for 2 days out of your 14-day trip, which will help the economy someday. So yeah, you can write off that whole trip.
Now, I bet that you, the employee, do take vacations to Europe, Hawaii, Florida, wherever, but I, being a housing provider, something that the government needs, will reward me and not you, the employee. Now, let's get off real estate investing. These expense write-offs can also include any education or courses that I buy, computer softwares that I need, vacations in a way, and like I said before, my car payments, gas, phone, internet, and so on. Anything that will aid to me being a better business owner, I get to write off and lower my income. So while that person that I mentioned earlier who made $500,000 but only showed a net taxable income of $50,000, well, they likely actually made $200,000, but they only paid taxes as if they made only $50,000, which means they put $150 tax-free right in their pockets. Now, this is just an example of an everyday real estate investor. Scale this up to big corporation owners making $50 million a year, but only paying taxes as if they made $1 million. Now, you're probably thinking, well, Matt, I get the small real estate investor example now, but this example seems really unfair. I mean, this mighty and powerful CEO provides jobs for 500 people who do pay taxes. And without that CEO risking everything, working 12 to 18-hour days for the past 20 years, sacrificing time with his friends and family, 500 less people would be paying taxes because of this CEO. And because of those 500 people that now have a job, they're all out in the economy spending money on houses, which provides a ton of jobs in itself. And they're also at the mall spending money. And because of that, the cashier at that mall has a job and a purpose. So now that cashier at the mall has a job due to people like me and you spending money there. So now they're able to go to the grocery store and spend money there. And because that mall cashier got paid, because the CEO paid employees who could spend money at the mall in the first place, the grocery store cashier and the product stackers at the grocery store also now have a job and a purpose. So now they're going to spend money elsewhere in the economy. And round and round and round, the money keeps moving throughout the economy, all because of the one original CEO who started the business and was able to provide a job for those original 500 people. That's capitalism in a nutshell. So yes, that's why the government incentivizes, happily actually, for all these rich people to write off so many things and reduce their income to virtually zero, paying effectively zero taxes. It's because the government understands and knows that it needs to incentivize private citizens to pick up the slack and do these things. Why? The government can't do these things. It's too slow, and quite frankly, they're too stupid. I mean, could you imagine the government workers and politician type people starting businesses like Tesla, Apple, Shopify, or Amazon? Well, just look at socialist countries and how well they're running. Can't even do their own crappy job right of just pretending to do something. How can they innovate and move the human race and the economy forward? They can't. What's the moral of this video? Learn the tax code and all of the many benefits of running a business that you own. I mean, I can bet that almost 50% of the people watching this who are employees are good enough to do exactly what you're doing right now, but under your own business title, and you'll immediately be unlocked to all of these favorable and needed tax treatments. Now, there's so much more to all of this, but if you want to learn more about being an investor, you'll definitely want to watch the next video.